something that's an issue.
Good morning. My name is Chris Caius. I'm chairman of the Administration Committee, and I'm calling this meeting to order of the Kane County Administration Committee on Wednesday, February 11th, 2026 at 10:30 a.m.
We need a meeting.
Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
We're here.
Garcia here. Gums. Gums here. D Young. K Young.
A Young here. Should be here.
Caius.
Present.
Roth.
Roth is here.
Yeah, we have super quorum. Welcome. Miss Young.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. And so everybody seems to be here, so we don't have any remote attendance to deal with. May I have a motion, a second, or a request for to approve the minutes from January 14th, 2026?
Mr. Chair, Gums would ask
Yes.
for unanimous consent of the approval of the minutes of January 14th, 2026.
Okay, Gums has asked for approval. Is there any changes or objections to that? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. The public comment, and I have one speaker this morning. We have one speaker this morning, Mr. David Young. And then, yeah. Good morning.
David Young. In the U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment provides that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. The phrase abridging the freedom of speech means the government is prohibited from punishing or censoring individuals for what they say. The clause applies to federal, state, and local governments, including the Kane County Board. First Amendment retaliation refers to adverse actions taken by a government official in response to an individual's exercise of their First Amendment rights. To demonstrate First Amendment retaliation, an individual must show the following. One, they have engaged in expression protected by the First Amendment. Two, a government official took adverse action against the individual. Three, the individual's protection or protected expression motivated the official to take adverse action. Courts have repeatedly held that state and local officials cannot, one, retaliate against free speech, protected speech. Two, suppress speech based upon viewpoint. Three, use government authority to silence critics. Four, coerce third parties into helping suppress speech. 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 has been violated by Chris Caius. Possible remedies from a civil liability lawsuit include monetary damages. He can be ordered to pay damages to compensate the victim for emotional distress, reputational harm, chilling of speech, any financial losses, ongoing harm caused by retaliation or suppression, and violation of constitutional rights. Civil rights damages often exceed tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending upon severity. Punitive damages can be substantial if the government's conduct was malicious, reckless, willful, or intended to suppress or punish constitutional rights. These damages can be substantial. And then, of course, you have the attorney's fees, litigation expenses, and court costs. A finding that a local official violated a citizen's First Amendment rights is a major public scandal. So when you decide to send out emails and make a call to action against somebody, you could have severe consequences.
Thank you. Okay, item 6, financial report. We have the financial reports are on file and in the agenda. Item 7, our executive director's report, Mr. Roger Fonstock.
Good morning. This is Roger Fonstock with IT and Building Management. This morning, we have a couple of guests that are here to support and speak to the request for a neutral exchange supervised time location at the Third Street Courthouse. So Blair, you have some slides for us for today. We're going to go through this, but what this will culminate into is a recommendation for this neutral exchange for Family Center. There's a partnership that's being proposed between the judiciary, the Bar Foundation, and then also the county. So they're looking at this from three different perspectives. This was brought to me by Chief Judge Villa, and then Judge Kim Giovanni is also here. And we're going to ask them up in just a minute. I'm going to go through the slides and kind of explain the work that we've done and the things that we're talking about. And then we'll ask them to speak a little bit about the neutral exchange Nest Family Center site that they're proposing. And then if you have questions, we'll try to answer them. But what would be the general consensus, what we're looking for is the Judicial Facility Fund, which is a court fee, would pay for the first $100,000 of the work. And then we made some adjustments to the capital fund based on some projects that are coming in a little bit lower. We would add $100,000 from capital to the project. And then there's in-kind furnishings and other things that were being offered or considered by the Bar Foundation. So those are the types of things that we're looking for. The renovation and repairs, we'll go through those. Okay, that's fine, Blair. It's not that many. There's a lot of pictures, so. Go ahead to the next slide whenever you're ready. So the property that we're talking about is 401 Campbell Street. And that is located just behind or to the west and a little bit to the south of the Third Street Courthouse. This was brought to us by the Kane County Bar Foundation, the judiciary, and then we're including the Kane County Board as a part of capital. Again, we have the chief judge and we have Judge DiGiovanni here. So this was a brochure that they provided about Nest, and I emailed it out so you'd have a chance to read it kind of in hand. But it describes the program. I won't try to describe the program. I will leave that up to the judges to explain what the program actually does. My general knowledge of it is the neutral exchange and supervised visitation for families that are in family court. That's my high level. Next slide. More about the program, the vision and mission. On the left side, you're going to see a blue outline. That is the piece of property in question. And below it is a picture of the curbside view. So that's the front entrance. That building has historically been used for a lot of different things. When I started some 24 years ago, that was actually the sheriff's annex for foreclosure. So they used to deal with properties that were going to tax sale and foreclosure issues. In that building, it kind of morphed into a vacant building, and then building maintenance and building management used it for a while. And then most recently, public defender used the space. Obviously, public defender and criminal courts need to be at the judicial center. So it didn't necessarily work out real well. I think they had some case files that they maintain in a storage room there. We've been talking with them about that, but that's kind of the current use. Is it's used for some storage, and there are some offices in there that are not being used, only when somebody's there to work with the case files. So that's kind of the situation of it right now. Go to the next slide, Blair. So the program, as I mentioned, it's to try to renovate and bring that building up to where someone could occupy it, and it's in good repair. 401 Campbell Street, we did some preliminary estimates just based on the market rates that we see, and we came up to about $180,000 plus some contingency to do the renovation work. The judicial facility fees would fund the first 100,000 and capital would be the second 100. Then there's the in-kind, which I believe will come up to probably $100,000 by the time they adequately furnish it and kind of make it appropriate for their use. No structural changes to the building. We're not going to go cut the building apart and make an addition or change it. We do need to revisit the roof. We're not certain that the roof needs to be replaced. There's no apparent signs of leaking right now, but the roof is old. We know that. So before we occupy it and put stuff in it, we would like to have the roof evaluated. We have WeatherGuard as a roofing contractor to look at re-roofing it. And you'll see the numbers for that. The HVAC system, you'll see some pictures of what we have in there. The HVAC system is old. It's mixed. There's a boiler. There's a HVAC system for forced air. And then there's a bunch of window rattling air conditioners in the windows. And I will add that the windows are in bad condition. There's a lot of dry rot and water damage. So there's some siding damage. There's some wood paneling on the sides that needs to be either treated or replaced. And then obviously some of the doors are not designed to be like family friendly. They look like they're barricades, to get through. And you'll see some of those. Break areas and restrooms need to be touched up, need to be renovated. We also would like to get some semblance of a family restroom where people could, change diaper, do some things with their kid if they need to, or take medicine, whatever that may be. Painting, flooring, lighting, a lot of fluorescent lighting. We need to probably take those lights out, change the light fixtures, get some LED lighting a little bit better. And then security, obviously you have people coming there that are there for a reason. We want to have some cameras and some security for the people there involved. And then accessibility improvements. Make sure everybody that needs to get into the building can get into the building. I don't know that you can make the building ADA fully compliant. It has some narrow spaces in there. One of the restrooms, we'll have to look at it. The door is barely 23 inches wide. So that's not going to work. We need to open that door or rework that one bathroom in particular. The other one's better. So those are the types of things. There will be some signage, some basic signage, something that welcomes people in. You need to probably freshen up the front landscape where people will enter the building a little bit. We can work on that with the bar foundation and the courts, trying to get it to look better than certainly what it is today. The last piece is whether or not the county would entertain a lease of the property to the bar foundation. Are they type of program, or are they actually somebody leasing the property and running their own program? We'd have to work on that with the state's attorney's office, figure out what structure is required in order, or form is required in order for them to use the space. We have lots of people that visit and provide visiting programs in many of our buildings, and they're not on leases. They're just here doing a program, but this will be something probably more substantial. Especially when you get to the point where you say, I need them to have keys or card access to the building when they need to come in. It's probably more indicative of a lease. The next slide, Blair. This is the budget that we put together, and it's itemized. These are estimates based on what we think industry-wide would cost. These are kind of the high end. And you'll see we had a correction where we were itemizing security twice. So we put 18,000 instead of the 12 that was there. That was the correction that went out. And then I moved the balance to contingency. So $200,000, again, you'd be taking 100,000 from the capital fund, 100 from judicial facility fund. The balance of the contingency, which is $24,000, would be held in the county capital. So if for some reason we are successful and it's less than we thought, the judiciary pays the first 100,000, is my understanding. We'd pay the balance up to 100,000. I think we'll get it done for less than that. I do think we would. It's approximately 2,000, I think about 1,800, 2,000 square feet. I think the outside of the building is about 2,200. Inside's about 1,800 square feet of space. Obviously we have to go through procurement to get all of the contractors in place to do this type of renovation work. That'd be through procurement. And I provided the capital fund and judicial facility fund where the balances are coming from with each of those. Next slide, Blair. So this is again, the site of the property. You can see the Third Street Courthouse. If you look to the left, you'll see the two houses that are used for the Child Advocacy Center. And then the annex is in that south central kind of portion of Campbell Street. We go to the next slide. This is the front and the back entrance. I believe the idea is that one entrance would be used for one party and the other entrance would be used for the other party. Separate sides of the building, separate entries, separate welcome areas, and then you'd have the exchange area somewhere in the middle. But that's both sides of the building. And you can't see the condition of the windows, but go to the next slide, Blair. Yeah, this is the side of the building. You can see some of the window air conditioners. There's 3 or 4 of them lined up on those side windows. All of those windows have dry rot. The windows actual casing is coming apart. So we do need to replace the windows. They're small windows. We're going to be talking with some of our existing contractors and our team of maintenance guys to see what can be done with the windows. Since they are relatively small, simple windows, it might be something that we can take on and do a little bit in-house. But nevertheless, the windows need to be replaced. The picture on the left is the west side. It's kind of a U shape, and there's some rough trees in there. We probably need to do some cleanup of that area. But that side of the building is mostly brick and kind of a service side. So next slide, Blair. This is the windows that we're talking about. If you look along the bottom edge of the window on the left, you'll see that kind of rough gray area between the slab and the window is actually the wood that's rotting out under the window. So those are the windows that are throughout the building and need to be addressed. If you look on the right side, you'll see some of the siding. I don't know if that's cedar or what type of wood it is, but I think it's cedar. And you can tell that the surface of it, the paint's wearing and it's peeling. You also look at the soffit up above. The soffit probably needs to be touched up or redone. It might be salvageable, just needs to be treated. Next slide. This is one of the doors that I was talking about. It looks more like a security door than welcoming a family in. So we do believe we need to deal with some of the doors. Again, this was from the time when they did foreclosure in there and they had people coming in and there was obviously separation between staff and the people coming in. The other door is just a simple, solid door on the back. Probably could be a little more welcoming as well. Next slide. This is the kitchenette. This is immediately in the back door. So while it is a kitchenette area, people would have to walk through that, or we need to move it or change it in a way in which their break area or their kitchenette is not the main entrance for people. So that would require some work. The picture on the right is the front entrance area. And that's part of that security door. It has a metal drop box through the middle and some wire on the windows on the doors, which I don't even know is code anymore. We'll probably have to address that. And then the window to the door to the right that you see in the picture on the right is also like a security door to go into another vestibule area. So both of those doors probably need to be reworked. They're a little bit convoluted to get through the space into the inner part of the building. Next slide. So these are the restrooms that we're talking about. They're not in terrible shape, but the floor is rough. The ceiling and the lighting is a little rough. There's been some work in there. They are functioning right now. So just some improvements, probably some widening, some accessibility things that we could improve. Again, don't know that you'll ever make them fully ADA compliant in a 1950s structure, but something we could do to make them better. The one on the right is the one with the really narrow door. It's probably, like I said, 23, 24-inch door. Next slide, Claire. This is the hallway. Again, the hallway is narrow. The carpet is experienced a lot of moisture damage over the years. It doesn't look terrible, but it's got curling edges. Would probably need to be replaced is what we're thinking. The picture in the middle is the current HVAC system that's in the middle area. On the right, you'll see the water heater and the boiler system. So there's a boiler, there's a heating HVAC system, and then there's window air conditioners. So our team would like to reconcile all of that, get it to where we have a heating and air conditioning system that works and that we can do temperature control. The water heater that's in the middle, I think it's tagged on the side. It's 2007, so it's 20 years old and might need to replace the water heater. Not a big deal. Next slide. These are some of the offices. This is typical. There's a couple small offices and a couple large offices, and then there's a larger office that's used for storage by the public defender. I didn't take any pictures of that because it has their files in it. Next slide. I think that might be it, Blair.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's it. If we wanted to go back to the budget slide, Blair, the table. Again, we're looking at three basic funding sources. One's judicial facility fund for 100,000, judicial or capital fund for 100,000. And then there's a contingency built into the capital funds, 100,000. But I think we have those funding identified. Later in the agenda, there's the capital list. You'll see this project is listed as new in the capital list, and that's where we would be setting aside the money. There are no contracts on the agenda to award work for this. We're going to look at what we can do with contractors that we have that do this type of work, whether it's we have a roofing contractor, we have plumbing, electric, we have a heating and air conditioning contractor. If we can do the repairs and fix things with them, we're going to try that. If it's a larger ask where we're looking to replace, maybe something that's over $30,000 in a single purchase, we'll probably have to go out and do some procurement. We'll have to get a bid on it, but that's yet to be seen. We haven't gotten into the building yet because this is really the first part of the project is initiation. So we're telling you this project is out there. If the board wants to move it forward, we would put the money in place, put it in the project, and then we would start with dealing with procurement and getting the next plan together for what we're going to do to the building and the property. With that, I don't know if you want to have any questions now or if you'd like to entertain Chief Judge Villa and Judge DiGiovanni is here if you want to have them speak a few words about this.
Why don't we go ahead with questions?
I
Ms.
do have
Gums?
questions for the Honorable Judge Villa and Honorable Judge DiGiovanni. So I don't know if you guys want to say anything, but I have some questions for you. So
Can we have them speak first and then you have
yeah,
the
that's what
questions?
whatever is their preference.
Okay.
Force behind this concept. For the last 2 years, you've heard me talk about improving our assets that we have here. The fantasy that we're going to build a new county courthouse or anything along those lines is not lost on me. It's not going to happen. But we do have really good assets here that we just haven't maintained for a long period of time. If you haven't been to 3rd Street, you'll see that what we did with our facilities fund is improve ADA access to the doors on the back side of the building, built a security station that we partnered with the sheriff's department in order to make sure that the funding was split between the two of us so they could get exactly what they needed and want. And we could also have a very aesthetic security station that looks like it's been there for 40 years and should continue long after that. We've added things to the Kane County Diagnostic Center where we built bathrooms inside their own facility because they were sharing the public space with the people who they were coming to do evaluations. We partnered with the Kane County Bar Association to help fund their efforts by shifting the driver safety program for all the traffic schools that's going to be going on in the future from Waubonsie College over to the Kane County Bar Association, facilitating them to do that, which will help sustain them for many years. They partnered with us in an attorney lounge, which encourages people to come back to the courthouse, use the asset that we've improved. Now we've got a really good one here with the Bar Foundation to provide a space for what is a neutral exchange site. If you hopefully have no experience with how bad neutral exchange sites can be, they can be really traumatic for the children that are exchanged. Of course, DuPage County, because they have a perpetual money tree, has a beautiful one. We won't be able to reach that standard. Not yet, that's true. But this one is something that we're happy to partner with. And while we've indicated that $100,000 out of facilities is useful, what we wanted to do, and we were very grateful for the county that you also wanted to partner with us on this, is it's our goal to help the Bar Foundation have the ability to fund the operations of Nest and not the facility itself. This way, they won't have to worry about the kind of things that have cost overruns and things that nature that we can actually take care of by partnering with the county. So I hope you guys enjoy this presentation from Judge DiGiovanni. She's a pretty good speaker, so have at it.
Hello, everybody. I'm the presiding judge of the Family Division in Kane County. So we have about 6 courtrooms in Kane County that deal with orders of protection, any divorce cases, things like that. So I wanted to just give you some numbers as far as filings for 2025. We had over 640 cases involving children, divorce cases. We had over 1,600 order of protection cases that also have to do with children. This is again, just in 2025, and then 540 parentage cases. So this is a center that we are in dire need of. DuPage County has had one for at least over 20 years. McHenry County has had one for several years. Right now, when there are orders of protection or children aren't able to see their parents, we're having kids exchange at Aurora, Elgin, Geneva, anywhere like that. It's obviously not safe. It's not helping the kids. The Kane County Bar Foundation is very involved with this. We had a pretty big fundraiser that I know Ms. Gums was at. We raised quite a bit of money. So why we're looking for this partnership is because this is a great existing building. It's got wonderful access. There's different entrances, so the parents don't have to be around each other. It's on the site of the government center. The police stations are close by. The Kane County Bar Foundation will be bringing in all the support, any mental health providers we need, making sure security is there, and kind of funding it as an ongoing center, which is what we need. So any questions, Ms. Combs?
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know if anybody else had any questions, but I guess, you know, King County, in my opinion, has always been at the forefront, and you and I have talked. I've talked to many others, and I also come from that law enforcement background, so I'm very familiar with child exchanges and how they affect kids. But I guess one of the questions I have is, you know, it's a little bit unusual for us not to be on top of this. Why wasn't it not a priority prior to this? And then secondarily, what if we maintain the status quo? How will that affect our children? And I would like to remind folks that this isn't like the bad people in Aurora and the bad people in Elgin. Everybody across the county, unfortunately, has child exchange issues, whether it be at the McDonald's, which is terrifying, or, you know, wherever, parking lot. So I guess I would like to ask those questions. Why hasn't it been done before? And then if we status quo it, what's going to happen to their mental state? What's the benefit?
All right, so why we haven't done it, before I got on the bench, I was a family law attorney and I did a lot of guardian ad litem work. And this is something that honestly, we've been trying to do for 10, 20 years in this county. And I think the planets have kind of aligned. We have this building that's kind of dilapidated. It's in a perfect area. It's in the middle of the county. So the folks from Elgin can come up, Aurora, and it's perfect. We've got the Bar Foundation on board. We have some money that we can use for this. And I think we just have the right people moving forward with this project, quite frankly. We have Dr. Sang involved. We have, again, other mental health providers that have said that the kids really need this center. We need places where kids can go, they can be supervised, the guardian ad litems can go in and write reports for the judges. We can read this and say, yes, this is a safe space for the child to go back with mom or dad. It's imperative. And again, DuPage was giving us like kind of free access to their space. And then again, during the pandemic, they said, we are not, you know, we love Kane County, but not enough to start using our resources for that. So go ahead and answer the second question.
No, I just wanted to point out something that I've never brought to you a plan that we obtained. The prior Chief Judge Hull had a vision of expanding the Juvenile Justice Center as a campus, and it would include a neutral exchange site. The reason I never brought it to you is because we paid almost $70,000 for plans, and those plans were $48 million for the expansion before they did anything, 12 million of which were related to the neutral exchange site. That's why it's never happened, because the concept of where to do it and how to do it really didn't materialize until this opportunity, as Judge Giovanni just said, kind of came to light. Why wouldn't we just use this place? And I think there's some people with vision for it, and there's some real commitment from the county building management. So I think that's why it's happening now.
And I would just like to follow up with a couple more things. And the reason I asked the question is because it's not lost on me that money is an issue in Kane County. And if we don't address that and announce to the public that these are services that, one, are hurting our children that we don't provide. Not only the children, but the mothers, the fathers, the families, everybody involved here has a mental problem when it comes to bad exchanges. And that costs money. So I think to articulate that to the public and say, hey, this should be a priority for King County because it affects all of our residents. And if the first experience that children have with law enforcement is because they had a bad exchange in a McDonald's parking lot, that's not good for the future of the residents of King County. And I think that we should highlight this as a priority because we have to make sure that they grow into trusting the judicial system, the county that's going to take care of them. All these things matter. And I think it should be a higher priority. I'm glad to give you more money if I can find it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions?
Oh.
Ms. Juby?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm actually well.
I was gonna
Doesn't look
ask,
like it,
but-
but I actually am.
All good.
Okay, so I have two questions. One is because this is in my district, and I know that these are questions I'm going to get from the neighbors. But I want to preface this with saying I think this is amazing. I support it 100%. So know that when I ask this next question. I know I'm going to be asked about safety in the neighborhood. So how are we going to address not just safety for the kids and the exchange and the people involved, but if something goes outside of that building and becomes a neighborhood issue, how do we adjust that? Are there people there when the exchanges are happening? The Geneva Police Department will be moving, so they'll be on South Street, so they're not going to have that super close proximity. That's number one. And then number two, please tell me we will not have fluorescent lights like that in the, because that's horrible for,
Roger's
We
got to
want them
deal
to
with that.
flicker too.
yeah, let's make it just
It's
a little
not
scary.
For kids at all, the flickering
No,
light.
no,
and
it's not. So I was
windows
kind of hoping
are-
we could have more neutral friendly lighting for that.
So the safety, that's a great question. We will have several people there. And we're going to start this small. It's going to start maybe Wednesday nights and then Saturdays and Sundays when people can be able to take off of work and see the children and back and forth. But again, it's on the campus, so there's always going to be sheriffs there. We are close to the Geneva Police Department, but kind of going back to what Ms. Gum said about the financial component of this, keep in mind, every time there's an issue with the parental exchange, every one of these police departments is getting called. Aurora, Elgin, Geneva, St. Charles, every Campton Hills, and it's a civil issue. So this is going to alleviate the cost to all these police departments and letting them get on to other things that they need to handle instead of somebody was 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late or that kind of thing. There is going to be security there as far as cameras, and then there will be panic buttons there. But just before we go there, nothing's ever happened in DuPage. Again, it's been 20 years and everybody's actually behaved themselves.
Right.
Oh, may I follow up
More
with that?
questions? Or do you have something?
No,
to
I
add?
can't follow up.
Yeah, I was gonna,
I just wanted to just say, I appreciate that. And I didn't think there were going to be. I was just trying to anticipate what, I already had calls about the fact we were out there measuring. And people were like, what are you guys doing? Are you expanding the parking lot? I'm like, no, we are not expanding the parking lot. So I've already had calls. So I just want to be able to answer in a fashion that reflects what you guys would like me to answer. So thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good enough then. All right, then, did you have something you wanted to add, Mr.
just,
Fonstock? Right now, and then
so
we'll
one of the things that we're looking at is the cameras that are observed in court security could also be on the court security cameras that are in the courthouse lobby. They would not respond as a first responder, but they could certainly call for a deputy or for support. And I don't believe they would be the first responder, but a sheriff would come certainly. So that's one. And then the surveying was a part of the asphalt contractors doing surveys for the lot. That's what they were out there for.
I think they were worried about us knocking the two houses down and making them parking lots.
More parking.
Yes. And then we have our state's attorney, Jamie Mosser, online. Ms. Mosser, do you like to address, us, please?
Yes, I just wanted to answer Ms. Juby's question because I have researched what they've done in DuPage. It actually makes it safer for our community and we see less criminal filings when we have people who are at these neutral exchange sites. So they should feel actually more comfortable because when it's at a place like the Geneva Police Department, it may be on video, but it's not monitored by a person. So crime actually is happening even at the departments. This will reduce that and make less pressure on our police departments to have to respond whenever this happens. So I'm in full support of this. you actually saw a decrease in crime, domestic crime in DuPage County once they started it, and that has remained consistent.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, great. Then we'll go, is there anybody else on the committee that has other questions first? And
Johnston.
then Go ahead.
Sorry, this is super important to me,
comment.
and I
can
I
tell.
have a lot of experience with it.
Sure.
So I feel like I can weigh in. Those 911 calls come in every single day for things like these. So 20 years of my life was spent, dispatching police officers to child exchanges. And I can't express this enough. The money factor, the investment, the return on this investment is going to be extraordinary. And to Ms. Mosser's point, people are on their best behavior when they're showing up at a place like Nest or a place like DuPage. They're not going to act out in front of their children, which is a terrifying thing for children. They get in the car, they know they're going to meet dad or mom, and they're terrified because they don't know what's going to happen. So if they go to a facility like DuPage or now in Kane County, which I hope my colleagues will all support, they're going to be on their best behavior, which is long-term forever effects on those children and those families. And I think that return on this investment, it will last lifetimes. It's not a small feat that we're doing here. I think it's extraordinary. And I think we should invest more in it. So.
Okay, any other questions for our Madam Chair? And then you.
Roth here. I think it's a great idea. Question is, are they just exchanging or are they actually meeting there too? One parent, that's where they'll meet with the child.
So it's a little bit of both. So
Okay.
it's going to be neutral exchange. So again, if there's an order of protections.
Right into the mic, please.
Yeah.
Kim.
Sorry, Mr. Caius. Always so bossy. So.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so again, thank you for the question. They will be dropped off, the kids, then they go through one door. Again, why this building is actually perfect. I think there's at least 3 doors that go in and out. And then I think you saw the 2 or 3 offices on there. There's going to be, the offices are going to kind of turn into a center where people that are not able to see their children under normal circumstances will be there with, again, a trained professional, a guardian ad litem, and kind of a 2-way mirror that can then write letters to the judge and say, yes, everything was fine. So again, maybe it's one parent accusing another parent of bad behavior. Somebody's always under the influence. There's going to be PBTs there. So it's kind of like a full service thing. And then at some point, moving it onto a mediation center to kind of get everybody out of the system a little bit faster,
Okay.
quite frankly.
Okay. And then a follow-up, since it is a small building, are there appointments? I would hate that where it gets overcrowded and then that causes an issue. Because
yeah.
we're piling up in and out.
Yes, there will be appointments. And again, we're starting it out small to see
Okay.
how it goes.
Right.
I think the DuPage.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, to see how it goes and maybe have 3 employees, something like
Okay.
that. There will be appointments and making it so it's not very crowded.
Okay. Thank you.
We've got a gigantic new building in Elgin now. That's a lot of space. And if I recall, I think Ms. Gums district.
I'm sorry, who's speaking?
I'm out of order, Mr. Caius, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Out of order here. Does the state attorney still own that building on South Farnsworth in Michelle Gums district? It's a house,
Which one?
the house on South Farnsworth, the state attorney had for many years. Do we still have that property?
Can I interrupt and just say, can you take this offline? Is this important to this discussion?
Relative
Is it
to,
okay? Relevant?
I
relative.
do, because we're talking about a particular property and there might be, yeah.
Is it-
No,
Um,
I don't believe we own that property.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Madam State Attorney.
I would love it though if it's open for grabs.
Thanks. Okay. And then I just want to make sure that we can hear you is all, Judge Giovanni.
Thank
Di Giovanni, excuse me.
That's the first time you've ever said that to me.
Madam Chair,
Can you hear me loud and clearly?
well, until I can't. you
Until
won't hear
my
from me.
microphone gets turned off. So we've got, you said 640 families who would be in this program. How do you prioritize Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday at the beginning? And then how do we, I assume that we want to effectively manage, if appropriate, most of these families to give them the counseling if they need it? How is the building going to be the right size for all of this as you open it up for the the families to come in and out. And then the next question I have is that how do you manage if a family member doesn't come? Does the child sit there by themselves and obviously being supervised? If the mom or dad or aunt or uncle, whoever is the guardian, leaves, waiting for the next partner to come in?
So they can't leave. They have to stay until the other person comes for
Okay.
sure. That's going to
Okay.
happen. And the numbers that I gave you, I actually think it's higher than that. I just gave you the filings, the current year filings, so everybody can have an idea. I didn't even tell you about the people that get divorced without minor children. So again, the filings, what did I say? We're 634 just from this year. So not every case I see, not every case is going to be very litigious and have parents that are going after each other. But one of the reasons I was actually running a little bit late today is because I have a very litigious file in front of me, 3 kids. It's a bad situation out of Sugar Grove, and they cannot behave themselves in front of these 3 little kids. And this is the perfect example of why we need people there to make sure that these kids are not in the middle of these terrible transitions at the police department when it's, raining outside and their little backpacks are on. I'm just trying to tell you, it's something that we need here, and it's been 20 years. We can only do it now, I guess.
Literally.
So
yeah.
as far as the timing is concerned, I would say each one of our judges, we probably have 10 to 20 cases that need this. And so right now people have to hire security guards to see their children. Sometimes they're seeing them at a library, which is not supervised. So it's going to have to be managed within the staff, and we will be working very closely to see the success that DuPage had. And they are it's Ms. Kappas in DuPage that deals with the program over there, and she's been wonderful to deal with, and she's going to help us through it.
Wonderful. And it's going to be child friendly, so there'll be appropriate furniture and make the building a little lighter color than dark brown.
Yes, we'll get somebody out
Bold
there
color?
planting flowers and things.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you. Miss, Josh, the new person, Miss Young.
Young new person. Who, just to be clear, who's going to be responsible, or what entity is responsible for paying the employees that will staff the facility?
Bar Foundation.
Got it.
Cool. All right. Okay, well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Presentation, very informative. And make sure there's no other questions. All right, so that
Mr. Chair, I
was
do have
just for information, then we're still in Roger's
I do have a
presentation, but
question.
you have the question?
So
Yep.
after the
general?
presentation, yeah, it's about this. So what is the ask today from you, Mr. Fonstock?
So,
What are we asking for?
in support of
Consensus
this,
or what?
in the packet under building management, there's a resolution to modify the capital list. And that would simply put the $100,000 in the capital program dedicated to the renovation of the space. And then the judicial facility fund, they have money budgeted in their judicial facility fund for building improvements. So the money for their part is budgeted in theirs, and we would have it budgeted in building management's capital. This would just be allocating the money to that project.
And that would be
That's a resolution for capital projects in the packet.
8C, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yep. You'll see two new additions on the capital list. One is this project for $100,000 of capital. And the other is, I think, 70-some thousand, which is furniture that was approved last year for the development completed by the end of the year. And there were some changes and things that we had to address before they could move forward. So we're just pulling it forward into fiscal year 26. So you'll see that in the capital list, but that's in the agenda packet. You'll see it says new 2 items.
So I would just ask my colleagues on this committee to support this.
Thank you. Okay, and we'll be discussing that under 8A or 8C. Great. Mr. Fonstock, do you have anything else under? report?
I don't know when the appropriate time is to discuss it, but I think we need to revisit the landscape award and the landscape contract that was on resolution yesterday for the county board. The timing of that and the procurement process to make sure we have a clear direction going forward. The board voted to not contract with the Ratliff, who was on agenda. And we're looking at what do you do in response to that? Go to the second lowest bidder, because the bid responses, I have copies of the bid responses if you'd like to see the pricing and see the scoring. But as a matter of procurement, did a vote to not contract with them disqualify them from the work and we go to the next lowest? Or do we, and purchasing, I don't want to speak for them, but they recommended and wanted to know if a scope review with the lowest responsible bidder to verify that they understand the scope and agree to the terms would satisfy questions or concerns of the board, or is the vote simply disqualifying them from bidding? There is the outside chance that we would rebid this, but rebidding it would result in responses from some of the same vendors who have just shown all of their cards, and we might end up with similar or same responses, which that can happen. The other part is that the timing of it is such that we need someone to do the pre-emergent treatment of things and start working in late March, early April. So we want to get this back on agenda for March county board, regardless of what vendor. It's cutting the grass, mulching, doing the flower beds, those things. We need someone on contract doing these things probably by the end of March. So if we can get it back on agenda for March with a recommended vendor and get that approved by the board, we would be set to start hopefully late March. So knowing that admin is one day after full county board, we would not be able to get on admin again until March, and it would be on April county board, middle of April, before we could actually engage with them. So the question is, could we have consensus to take a scope review and a resolution for Ratliff back to the board, or a second qualified vendor, Barry Landscaping was second, back to the board, but we would go through executive as opposed to coming back to admin, or I guess you could have a special ad for that.
Ms. Gums.
Hi, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thought. I voted for Ratcliffe, just FYI, but the board did not. I do not want to see them come back for reconsideration because the board spoke. So number 2 in line would be my recommendation. I think that solves the problem.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. It's only my opinion, but the board already said no, so I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it again.
I'm going to go with Ms. Juby first and then Sally.
Thank you. I'm not interested in a scope survey of them. I'll continue to vote no on them based on their past experience. I would, however, like to ask the state's attorney if we are able to go with the second lowest qualified bidder.
So we started looking into this last night once we saw it happen at county board. The best we can make of it right now, because the ordinance isn't entirely clear, is that the bid essentially was rejected by the county board with what I believe is probably going to be deemed under the ordinance as in the best interests of the county. There is an appeal process that happens from that. So the purchaser, the next step, I believe, is the purchaser is going to reach out to Ratliff and then they can appeal it. What happens from there is kind of an open question, but we're going to keep digging into this. Like I said, we've had less than a couple hours of working time to even really look into this. So I would request a little bit more time before I can give you a final definitive answer.
John, do we have to reach out to them?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So by definition of we, I mean the purchaser, which is the purchasing director.
Okay, seems a little backwards to me. If they wanted to appeal, it seems like that would be, the onus would be on them.
Well, so we have to provide them notice. So even though it happened in a
Noted.
public meeting, we
Noted,
still have to
yes.
provide them notice.
Ms. Allen?
I'm not on the committee, so I'm butting in, but I just have to ask, were we unhappy with this vendor for other reasons? Can anybody anecdotally tell me if we were it was basically a mowing vendor? And
Landscape.
as I understood it, after Ms. Juby and others raised objections to the care of the weeding. We put that into the contract, the new contract, and we're prepared to pay for that service. So I'm having trouble connecting the dots. Were we so unhappy with that vendor that we want to reject them for some other reason? And then having added this to the contract, why aren't we trusting them to do the contract?
I have to follow up on that.
Go with Ms. Juby first.
Well, it was actually 3 years of me bringing up to Mr. Fonstock that they were not doing something that was in their contract. I read their contract, and Mr. Fonstock went and communicated that to them. And we had 3 years of them back and forth where I would complain, Mr. Fonstock would communicate. It did not get done. I would complain. So if you need some type of like historical background, I suggest you watch all of the previous admin meetings where I would say probably every second meeting, I brought up that I didn't feel they were adequately fulfilling their contract. So there was weeding in the contract, in the initial contract. They spelled it out more because apparently having conversations with them didn't matter. So I have a problem with them because I do not feel that as a landscape company, having weeds in front of your buildings that are visible, very visible, and you don't say, hey, maybe we should change our contract. Maybe do you guys want us to do that? They didn't do that, or I do not know that they did that. So that is the reason why I voted no. I will continue to vote no for this company because I do not believe their past performance reflected well for the county or for the people that are paying for their bill. So that's my reason for that.
May I follow?
Sure. And then Gums.
May I-
Yeah.
I am connected to a public building in Elgin, and I personally did a whole bunch of weeding at that. Well, what I'm saying is that my experience was that when people were coming into this building, it didn't look good. And the vendors who were supposed to be taking care of the building obviously were doing many projects. So we took it on ourselves to just pretty up the place enough. So I just get there's a disconnect here that I'm uncomfortable with. And that's what I'm trying to get to the truth of. I don't know if it was just a bad year last year, but I'm not kidding you. I don't weed my own home, but I weeded this building. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Gums?
Thank you. I just would like to respectfully, Ms. Allen, it's almost like we're relitigating something that we already voted on as a board. And I'm trying to get back to good governance here. So that's
Sure.
my point of talking about this. And I also fear that our continued admonishment of said company is not good for them. And I don't think that we should be doing that. I think there are many board members, enough to vote no, that had their own reasons. And, you know, we're a body of one. We're not 24 individuals. We are a body of one. And I do respect you, and I understand that there are questions in your mind. And, you know, again, I supported it, but others did not. And I don't want to relitigate, rehash, and blame one particular individual or one group of people, because we're beyond that. And that's just why I said I didn't want to see them come back. We already said no. And it's not just with this issue. It happens continually where the board says no and something automatically shows up again. That's not good governance, in my opinion. So
We'll try and avoid that. Then I refer back to you since you're leading
Oh.
the,
What we're interested in, we'll
Big
consult
directors.
with purchasing and with the state's attorney's office, but the consensus to try to bring back the question to executive committee, we've just discussed this with Madam Chair about, can you put this on executive committee so we can make the timeline for March? I don't believe that, you know, Barry Landscaping, the number 2, has anything other than a good proposal. The process was very good. I think purchasing did a great job. We have good responses, some a lot more expensive than the top 2. I will tell you that. So we definitely think that we have 2 good responses. They're very close, competitive. You know, if we were to pursue at executive, is the admin committee generally okay with presenting that at executive as opposed to waiting longer to bring it back to admin, or we could have a special admin meeting, but we'd have to do that in the next 2 weeks. So that's the only question we had. And what we want to do is, because I believe the scope review is off the table, correct? So,
Well, that's certainly, if we have an objection right here, that seems to be where it's coming from. Would it be, I'm looking for a solution, whatever it is. If we brought up the same item rather than completely voting it down, would it be appropriate to do it at a amendment at the time, whatever the meeting is, to accept number 2 as opposed to number 1 rather than killing the whole thing?
reword it.
Or, yeah, go ahead, Juby.
Well, my opinion is we did kill it. But I think that if you ask for consensus among us, whether we think it's okay for Roger to bring forth the second bidder to exec, I think you probably would find that you had consensus here.
Let's see if we can do that. Okay. I'm getting nods. All right.
I'm a yes.
Okay.
I have no objections, but
And I don't have any objections to if that's the will of the committee. Absolutely.
guess,
That's-
Mr.
whatever we
Chairman,
can
if
get
I may.
forward, and we got to get the grass cut, whatever it takes to do.
I guess, if I may ask a question, like, what is the
Sure.
objection? What is the objective here then? Killing all the weeds? Because I weed my lawn, I hire someone to weed my lawn, and they still pop. Want absolute perfection with no weeds, or I guess I don't want to get in the weeds now.
I
But
don't think we want to go to that. I don't think we want to get into that.
what do we
part of it.
want
Get into
here?
the weeds,
I get it.
What is the
actually,
goal of this?
I don't even spray. I like my
discussion.
dandelions. Thank you very much. But
The-
Canadian thistle, that's something else. Or Canadian thistle.
So
Okay.
this is Roger. The contract is to have regular maintenance of the flower beds and pre-emergent weeds, treating for dandelions and other weeds that come out during the summer. And I think that being a regular part of their service, as opposed to the nature of on demand. In other words, somebody sees it and tells them to go. And Ms. Juby had reported this to us. We would call them, ask them to come out. They would send somebody out to do something that, it's this specific thing. And then you see it over here. It's another area. And so that was kind of a constant, request where you're constantly going back. So this makes it a part of the contract.
And we-
It's built in. They're going to weekly come through and look at the weeds in the beds, treat them. There's pre-emergent, which part of the reason we want to get ahead of this is to get that down so that we don't have dandelion fields. If that's what we want the pre-emergent stuff to be taken care of.
Okay, so I've got a nod
Good.
and
I
we're
think
going
we're
to go
good.
ahead and send it off to exec unless there's an objection from the state's attorney or Madam Chair.
Yeah, so I understand the general feel of this, but until we have some clarity on how this ordinance operates, there's appeal rights. And so until we get clarity on the process of that, going to the second bidder without giving proper due course to the original winning awarded bidder by the purchaser could have liability risks for the county. I say that simply because I don't want to tell you one way or the other until I know.
Okay, well, then can we have a special committee meeting? If that's necessary later, or can we just bring it later once we find out the information?
That would generally be my recommendation to you
Work
if you
with-
want to move this quickly to get to
Work with them.
March County Board.
Okay, so lots of questions.
I don't
Is
want to
it-
make it lots of questions. I just have one for John. So I'm a little baffled by that. I understand that there's an appeal process. The liability potentially could be there, but we are doing what our ordinance requires in that we rejected the first one. They have an appeal process, but we rejected it as a body. And then the steps through that ordinance are to go on to the next one. So I don't know that the liability, I mean, I hear you, you're the lawyer, but I'm
So
just confused on.
Their appeal
how-
right is an opportunity for them to cure whatever the issue is.
But that, I guess, to be more articulate of my question, during that appeal process, does that, I mean, it doesn't stop us from moving on.
It could.
I mean,
It could. In fact, probably does. But again, remember, we've only had this for a short period of time. I'm asking for time for us to get clarity because this is not a common thing. It's very, very rare that you all reject an awarded bidder that the purchaser is awarded through an RFQ process. So until I have clarity, and to be honest with you, our initial review is that the ordinance isn't clear. So I'm trying to give a best case scenario answer for you as I have right now.
I look forward to your expert opinion.
Sure.
And
We'll work with,
regardless of that, yeah, let's,
Yeah.
then we'll just have to take it under advisement from state's attorney. Does that sound reasonable? As opposed to, we know where we're
Good.
kind of want to go.
I got it.
All right, thank you. Does
And-
that pretty much do your thing,
I got it. Thank you.
Roger? I'd like to, well,
Move on.
okay.
This is, thank you.
Chair.
And just as a follow-up, thank you, sir. If it all meets with your approval, with no issue, will this be put onto the exec to expedite this? But I want to make sure that we have the blessing from our state's attorney to make sure
I think
that
we
we
all
can
just
move
agreed
forward
to that.
appropriately.
We all
But I'm
agreed.
just saying that verbally.
Thank you.
Well, to clarify, can I
No,
clarify that?
I think it's pretty clear.
Is it though? Are
No.
we doing the first one or the second one
We're
on
waiting.
exec? But that,
She's making it available on exec, assuming whatever the response from the state's attorney is.
so after that opinion, whatever you decide, I mean, the consensus here is that we don't want prop one, we want the number two. I don't want to see on executive before your decision, the original bidder.
I think that's clear.
Okay.
So we would bring
That's-
it back
that's all I
to-
just wanted to make
maybe
sure.
We would call for
Clear?
us, this is Roger from IT and Buildings. We go through this with the state's attorney's office, we would potentially ask for a special admin meeting.
Perfect.
We can't come to
Okay.
a reasonable conclusion of what we want.
Whatever it takes to
That's
get that
fine.
grass mowed.
I think special admin would be the next step though, so we could air this out, finish it, get a contractor, get them going.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's the best way to also protect the county as it relates to Ratliff's appeal rights for the rejection of its bid.
Okay. Pretty understood.
Very
Pretty
good.
much understood. Good.
Thank you.
All right. I think I would ask for the, we're moving on to building management, Kevin Harris. And I would like to possibly, if it's okay with the committee, just by consent, to move to item C, the resolution authorizing updated capital projects from the capital fund. I think that's what our judge and stuff are waiting
Yes.
for, right?
Yes.
Should we just do item C first then? And so then I would ask for a presentation or a motion to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing updated capital projects from the capital fund, moved by
Thumbs will move.
Gums, seconded by
Kay Young.
Young. That's pretty exciting.
It is.
Okay. Sure it is. And we've had the discussion. Is there any other questions that the committee might have for our illustrious guests? Not? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
D Young,
Yes.
K Young,
Yes.
QBI.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Thank you for being with us. I know that there's one past board member, Mr. Davist, Mark Davist, who pushed for that for the last all of 8 years was with him there, or 4 years. And he's excited about it too when he sees it. So we've been working on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, something get my way. That was nice. Motion passes. Then, I guess, Mr., would you like to, I moved that through really fast. So I get the judges out of here. Would you like to expound on the capital projects, Mr. Harris?
I think you've got the bulk of it. Roger mentioned the two things around the capital plan. There's no change in our total capital amount. We are going to find cost efficiencies in other areas that will finance that, so there's no change. So I think you've kind of covered that really well.
Okay, so good. We don't have to go back to that. Great. So then we're still carrying on your section here, item A. May I have motion and a second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing a number of procurement cards issued to the building management department and each of their transactions limits. Moved by
Gums so moves.
Gums, second by
Garcia.
Garcia.
And we do
Harris?
this annually, correct?
Annual.
Yes, this is a housekeeping issue that is brought to the board annually. There's no change from the previous year. And this allows us to do a few things. We oftentimes find lower pricing. And so it allows us to use that lower pricing, for example, on Amazon. Sometimes there are non-standard parts that we need to get. And so we use a vendor that's approved and we'll use these credit cards. So and then emergencies that happen. So again, no change to the past. It's the same number and it's an annual approval that you have to do.
Okay, any questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo. Garcia,
Yeah, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
D Young,
Yes.
K Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Passes. And may I have a
Motion?
motion for a resolution and to present and potentially approve the resolution authorizing a contract extension for the King County Elevator Preventive Maintenance Services for Building Management Department, bid number 23-011, moved by
Gums will move that one.
Gums, second by
Juby.
Juby. And Mr. Harrison.
Very similar. This is the first extension for a elevator contract. There are 2 future extensions if we choose to do so. This is with Urban Elevator, and they provide the maintenance for all of our elevators across the county, whether they're new elevators, old elevators, and the parts, et cetera. So this is the first extension.
I just have one quick
Present-
question, Mr.
yes,
Chair.
Ms. Gums.
The elevator debacle at the Judicial Center, they performed well? This
The elevator debacle, the judicial
had a
center.
downed elevator for a while at the Judicial Center, did we not?
So yeah, but that's also a function of getting parts and also our ability to project management.
Staffing Satisfactory there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
Good.
yeah, I've been around elevator companies for a while. Urban Elevator is as good as any other. They're not dramatically better than anybody, but they're also not dramatically worse. They're all about the same. Cone, ThyssenKrupp, Clonate, ThyssenKrupp, they're very similar, but Urban has been pretty good for us so far.
I only ask because a lot of the people in the building that weren't, they're not happy, but
Yeah,
I think,
elevators
I
are,
think you should get applause for finding and utilizing good companies.
You heard that.
yeah, they're a good company. Elevators are very personal. For those who've been in companies where there's coffee offered, it's very similar, where people want certain kinds of coffee and becomes a CEO conversation. Elevators are very similar. But Urban's been very good for us.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Roll call, please. Any other questions? No? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Yeah, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
D Young,
Yes.
K Young,
K Young, yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. All right, that takes care of building management. On to information technologies. May I have a motion and second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing number of procurement cards issued to the Information Technology Department and each of their transaction limits. Moved by
Arroyo moves.
Arroyo, second by
Yeah.
yeah. And that's Mr. Lasky. Charles.
Good morning. So as mentioned earlier with building management, this is the yearly process of approving the P cards and the limits. So these limits are still the same as we had last year. They're working for us, so we'd recommend approval.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Garcia,
Yeah, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
D Young,
Yes.
K Young,
K Young, yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Yes. Item B, may I have a motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution of approving the County of Kane compliance statements for website accessibility, moved by
K Young,
Young, K
Juby.
Young. Second by
Juby.
Juby. Mr. Lasky?
Yes, so as we discussed at the committee of the whole, and we've brought up on a few occasions, the new ADA compliance requirements for the website and digital communication coming out from the county. Based on that, we worked with the state's attorney. Steve Ford was very instrumental with working with Adam Tedder to go through this and create a compliance statement that we're going to put on our websites. Adam also sent this out to all department heads and elected officials that have websites just to make sure they saw it. To get any questions or concerns they had. So far we've had very positive feedback. So we're recommending approval of this statement. Once this is approved, we'd have it on the websites. Every website would have a link that would go back to this. And within there, we also have a Laserfiche form that if anybody does notice something that's not within compliance, that they realize, or if there's other issues they want to mention that would help with their access to information, they can fill out that form and then we could evaluate those on a case-by-case basis.
Any questions for Charles? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
DeYoung,
Yes.
K Young,
K Young, yes.
Chuby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Excuse me, motion passes. May I have to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing a contract for the Information Technologies Department with Walker and Associates Incorporated, doing business as NetSeed and Altex, Elxtel, something for Juniper, Cisco, Fortinet, and Support Services, RFP number 26-004-TK, moved by
Arroyo moves.
Arroyo, second by
Garcia.
Garcia.
So this is in response to a bid that was put out with the purchasing department to purchase network gear, services, software, and support. This covers all the equipment that we use to maintain the network throughout the county, our fiber network inside individual buildings, our wireless access points. So these were the two responsible bidders. We're awarding it to two because one of them had better pricing on one brand of the equipment we use and one had better on the other. So we want to make sure we have both of those available to use. These would be used for items that are already budgeted, so we would recommend approval.
Okay, any questions? Ms. Juby?
It's not really a question, it's more of a statement. The Alex T, I guess is how you pronounce it, they state that they're not a one-size-fits-all kind of a company. And yet they say Kane County, like many states, need to modernize IT, ... The unique challenges of delivering Kane County agencies to the residents of Maryland. Just kind of thinking that maybe they are a one-size-fits-all on their executive summaries. So can you just double check and make sure that we're not actually delivering services to the residents of Maryland?
Yes, we have found that in several bids where people have their template and they don't update things. With this, we're purchasing mainly products. And so we're looking at their price. And so we'd be expecting them to deliver products to us, but we will follow up again, but based on the review process that was done,
So Maryland's not involved in this.
no.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Yeah, and we're not
One
in
in
Maryland,
Utah.
right? We didn't get moved to
Unless they
Maryland.
pay us.
That's right.
Okay. Right,
Card.
okay, moving right along.
So
Roll call, please. Any other questions? Roll call.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
DeYoung,
Yes.
K Young,
K Young, yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Yes. All right, well then, may I have a motion, a second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing execution of a master intergovernmental cooperative purchasing agreement with the other documents necessary to participate in a purchasing cooperative with AT&T and authorizing the purchase of telecommunication services under said agreement by Kane County, moved by
Gums will move it.
Gums, second by
Arroyo.
Arroyo.
So this resolution authorizes the IT department to continue to purchase services through AT&T under the contract that was done by the state of Illinois. So this would be joining their cooperative, getting the pricing that they negotiated. This is how we've maintained access to most of the AT&T services we've had throughout the years. The state contract is, excuse me, has provided the best option for us to do that. So we'd recommend approval for this to continue that effort.
Okay, any questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
DeYoung,
Yes.
K Young,
K Young, yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Yes. May I have a motion, a second to present, potentially approve, item E, a resolution authorizing a license agreement for dark fiber with ISI Communications Incorporated, moved by
Gums will move.
Gums, second by
K Young will second.
K Young.
This resolution authorizes our first fiber license agreement since all the work was done to get the legislation changed to allow us to do this again. Kurt Lebo and Steve Ford worked on this. We actually just had the language finalized this morning. Steve had recommended another update. They accepted it, so I brought a printed copy and left that by each of your desks if you want to, at least your seats if you want to look at that. But this would be a agreement that would bring in $44,648.95 into Kane County. It's a 4-year agreement for a section of fiber that is coming off of the SBA data center. And so we would recommend approval, and we're excited to be able to share this with you all.
Okay, great. And we get a cheer from the
I
corner over there?
was over here, yeah,
Okay.
hooting and hollering. Well
right.
done. Good
Any-
job,
Any
guys.
questions for Mr. Lasky? Roll call, please.
Was an amendment needed or at all?
I'm sorry, no?
Okay.
No, there was no amendment.
Oh, okay.
No, there's no amendment. We're just all cheering to have it done.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia, Gums,
Yes.
D Young,
Yes.
K Young,
A Young, yes.
Juby,
I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. All right, then from, nothing from GIS this morning. Mr. Lebo's not here, so. Items 11, Mill Creek SSA, Mr. Roger Fonstock. May I have a motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing a contract extension with Langton Group for the Mill Creek SSA Landscape Maintenance Services Program, Tree-Related Services, bid number 24-025-TK, moved by
Gums will move.
Gums, second by
Or a second.
Arroyo. And Mr. Fonstock.
Yeah, this is landscape maintenance services for tree-related services in Mill Creek. This comes from the Mill Creek SSA funds. This is a 1-year extension. There's one of 3, and it's a budgeted expense in Mill Creek for $200,000. We have good experience with the landscaper and are looking for the extension not to exceed 200,000.
Okay, any question? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
D Young,
Yes.
K Young,
K Young, yes.
Juby,
I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Motion passes. Other Mill Creek business may I have a motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing a contract extension for the purchase of trades, labor, materials, and related services for sidewalk trip hazard removal with Precision Concrete Cutting Incorporated for the Mill Creek Special Service Area, TIPS contract number 230100402, moved by
Gums.
Gums, second by
Arroyo.
Arroyo.
Okay, this is a service contract that we use for taking out trip hazards throughout the Mill Creek SSA area. In the executive summary, we have addressed like 1,000+ trip hazards in Mill Creek. There are over 2,000 homes and properties, 5,000+ residents, and we get trip hazard reports all the time. And we're using this company to mark them, and then they will give us a recommendation to cut. They grind and cut the edge off to make it level. You'll see some of that throughout maybe your own municipalities or areas. This is the company that does most of that work for everyone. We're looking to approve $150,000 of additional cutting with the company through this agreement. It's a budgeted expense. The residents have enjoyed the fact that we're addressing that. If a square of sidewalk is not suitable to cutting, they mark it for replacement. And then we have a concrete company come through to schedule replacement of the square. But that's how this is being handled for Mill Creek. This program's been widely praised. A lot of people appreciate the fact that we're out there cutting all the trip hazards for the walkers and kids riding bikes. So we're recommending approval.
Okay, and Mr. Young.
Question. Was that what we approved last year?
Yes.
Right. Tim? Okay.
Same contract.
And it's up to 100.
Up to 150. Yes. And I don't think it's even $100 per slab that we cut. And sometimes you have to cut both sides, but 150,000. So it'll do a lot of damage.
How to repair.
Okay, and then for our new member here who might not, I'm sure you probably understand what a SSA is, a special service area. And we, at Mill Creek, they have their own board and the way all of the legislation is written is that they approve it there and then we have to approve it through the county.
Gotcha.
And we usually follow, matter of fact, I don't know that we haven't ever followed their advice since they're voting for what they're doing in their neighborhoods. It's a very special thing. I don't think there's anything quite like that anywhere else in the county.
Unique.
Yeah, there's other SSAs. They're very small, but this one's unusual. So they've already voted for it, and so we just pass it along.
Thank you for the explanation.
Sure. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo. Garcia.
Garcia, yes.
Gums.
Gums, yes.
DeYoung.
Yes.
K Young.
K Young, yes.
Juby.
Juby, I.
Tyus.
Yes. Don't believe there's any vehicles. And then the reason that vehicles is on our, it's just part of our purview here for the administration. All vehicles, sheriff, anywhere bought in the county runs through this committee. So you'll
That-
see vehicles occasionally and this
Lot
is
of
where it starts.
vehicles.
It's a lot of vehicles.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair.
Sure. And then new business, then we have here a facility use of the Judicial Center parking lot for the Fox River Trail Runners Charity Event. That Mr. Fonstock?
So we have the request for the Fox River Trail Runners. The president has been in contact with us and with the judiciary. The judiciary is generally approving of this. I think there's a couple of questions they still had, but they have approved this in the past, I believe. So we're looking forward to having them on the property. They use the Judicial Center parking lot. I believe it's over a weekend period. We've never had any issues with them. They do have an estimated like 500 to 800 people participate. So it's a big crowd. But it will be at the King County Judicial Center. And I believe with the judiciary and the building management department, we have no reason to object and we support them.
Okay, then we'll do a vote on this, but just also to let you know as well, anything that happens in parking lots or anything throughout the county has to go through the operating management, like this judicial, because it's judicial courthouse. Then it comes to our committee. We vote on it here to go ahead and approve it. Once it's approved by whether it's a judicial or down, even it could be in this area right here. And then we vote on it and then you won't see it again. I mean, it doesn't move up through committees typically. So Ms.
Just-
Gums.
I just
yes.
have one quick question. What parking lot, I know this sounds really ridiculous, but what parking lot do they normally utilize? Is it farther away from the
West.
sheriff's office?
West lot, yes.
Okay.
And I think one of the questions is about restrooms, actually, with the judiciary. They want to make sure they're bringing their own.
Porta
Porta
potties or
Yeah,
whatever.
so that's the only other. I had
Also by the
clarification,
river.
yeah. No, it's not by the river. No. There's a creek going,
Some tall weeds out there in the solar.
few ponds.
So, Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Juby.
Well, actually, I had two. One was about outhouses. Are we supplying them? Will they're not
We
going to be
don't.
outhouses there?
There's no food or drink being
Okay.
provided. It's the start of, I
Okay.
believe, the race and parking. And then the question was whether or not they would provide.
Well, that's what I meant. Is
Yeah.
there going to be,
We're asking the judiciary, how they want to handle it, but we'll work with the president, make sure that we're not opening the building for
okay,
them.
no, I didn't think we
Yeah.
were. I just want to make sure. And the second question is, how many parking spaces do we have available in that lot?
I'd have to go count them. There are a couple hundred. So it's a
Well,
large parking
if
lot.
we're
They're going to
look-
shuttle bus people in, they said.
Right, but
Yeah.
but they said they're expecting up to 800 people. If
Yeah.
every person drives their own car,
Busy.
that's 800 cars.
Yeah.
And 200 lot isn't going to handle that. So are we prepared to open up other lots if all of the cars are there at the same time?
We can talk with them about what their expected cars are. I don't think it's ever been a problem for the event.
Okay,
but
I would
yeah.
like to know those
Okay.
things, those
Is
questions,
this
yes.
of course, this is a weekend event?
Yes.
I didn't-
Sunday.
Sunday, okay.
Yeah, that's a good
And
question.
Roth
Mr.
here.
Roth, yeah.
Yeah, just a clarification. Page 503. The race is actually at Leroy Oaks and they don't have enough parking. So they're parking
Oh,
at
they're
the
just using the
Judicial
parking?
Center. and then taking
Oh,
buses.
I know
up
that.
there.
Flow? I thought that
I
was
can read.
I'm just saying, not everyone it wasn't stated, so I'm just doing for
Okay.
clarification. Not everyone reads,
Thank you.
unfortunately.
Yeah, this comes through the judiciary and the courts. They are the ones that were asked first. We don't have a conflict from building management, so
So we'll do a little roll call, please.
check.
There wasn't a mover or seconder.
Well, okay, and I have a motion and a second to, it's not actually as a resolution, so, but I'll, motion and a second to do this event, approve this event. Moved by,
Should it be consensus?
we have a consensus to do it.
I think consensus is good.
Mr. Ford,
No objections.
there's no formal resolution on this.
Correct. There's no formal
Yeah.
resolution.
So consensus.
Mr. Caius.
Shakes?
I just wanted, this is
Mr.
Roger from
Ron
Building
Stock?
Management. I will tell you, one of the things that we're trying to do, and we're working with the Fox River Trail Runners. So we created with our applications department, an online form for people to complete for these types of things, to ask them all these questions. And this is not from that form, but this same group was asked to be one of our test cases to submit the online form. And it does. It asks the questions about parking, and it asks about bathrooms, about food, about insurance, and asks them a lot more questions than what we had asked in the past. And I believe they submitted online, and it's with the judiciary right now in the electronic format, but this was actually the paper they submitted. So when we get the electronic format, we could bring it in to show you what questions we're asking them. And we want to use that in the future, because in the past, it was handled like this in paper, and it comes to us and we put it on the agenda, and it's not something that we've had a lot of time with. And this will make sure it has a workflow, it gets approved by everybody, and it has email distribution so everybody can get a copy of what was approved. And this one would be going to the courts first because it's a judicial property. And then it would come to building management to see if there's anything else. But that's all been created in electronic format, and Charles and the IT team put a lot of work into that. We're just getting it started. So I think in the future, it'll clear up a lot of the questions.
So just a follow up,
Juby?
that idea of putting it together in a different form came from that one we had over at the Randall property, where they wanted to put that thing in and they didn't have any of.
Yeah, there
those.
was,
So that's what, if I'm remembering correctly, that's what has, okay, that's all I wanted to
that
know.
and
Okay.
it getting caught between offices where
Right,
have
okay.
you approved, have we approved, who approved this?
Okay.
And then it's coming here, and we didn't really have everybody on the same page. So we're trying to get that workflow to where if you can't get the courts to approve of using their property, we don't need to see it. And we're going to stop there. And then if they get past that, buildings would look at it, and then it would come here. So that's the workflow that we're trying to get. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on any of that? Any other new business? Anything for the betterment of the committee? Old business is the discussion committee goals. Blair, can you pull that up? Maybe on, I sent him a Word document, and I sent it out to each of the committee members and for your review, and I'll have Ms. Juby speak to the main points. Should be something like, I think the numbered ones, hopefully I sent you the right file. The top portion is the existing committee goals, and which are also taking a good portion of the front page of this. Bottom was what Ms. Juby suggested. Would you like to take?
Sure,
this?
I can take it. So, because the committee is actually a governance committee, when I went through and reviewed the existing admin goals, I reviewed it with the eye of separating us from staff work. So I tried to realign the goals, which are actually things that our departments are supposed to be doing, and tried to realign them in the sense of a governance. So invest in county capital assets through a 5-year capital plan using capital and American Rescue Plan funding to replace major mechanical systems, including heating, air conditioning, fire safety, and water systems identified for replacement by condition assessments turned into review revenue and expense budgets, capital projects, contractual services, commodities, and county assets as necessary. Because that's what we're actually doing. We're reviewing them to see if it's something that we need to suggest money being put in. The first and the second one's kind of tied in together. Upgrade and maintain all county software applications database to provide continuity of operations for the county offices and departments and the visiting public. Just basically turned into us reviewing it, getting updates, getting scheduled cycle replacement reports, things like that, that we actually do, monitor the standards, the planning and the progress. So basically all he did was just turn it over from removing us from doing staff work to allowing us to do the governance and, monitoring and receiving and giving input. And that's what I did, so.
Okay,
I have a-
and yes,
Comes here.
questions?
I noted one thing that was maybe missing even before and now. I don't know where it goes or how to even word it. I think this committee, we handle all property that the county owns, everything. That's where it comes to. We have had discussions and been moving forward as far as what we have, what we don't want anymore, what we can lease, what we cannot lease, all those things. And I think that should be on our priority list too, to assess what we own, get rid of what we don't want, and sell what we don't need, or, all of the above. So I don't know how that's worded, but I think that's why I brought it up for discussion here. I think it should be part of our goals because it's a huge, huge thing.
That is addressed in number one, when it
Yeah.
says review county assets as necessary. It's very open because it requires policy and ordinance changes, which we are working on right now so that we're actually trying to get a plan to show us how to do it and who's supposed to do it. So to put it, I would like it to be, sorry, Mr. Chair. I would like it to be a little bit more inclusive of that because it historically is often overlooked, that land and vacant properties and all. I think I hear you, it's an asset, totally agree with you, but it's just not something that is elevated and I think it should be. Then you should suggest language for that because I felt
That's
that
why
was
I'm bringing it up today, Ms. Juby, so
Right,
that
I'm
we can
saying
discuss it.
You can
Yes.
suggest language and
I'm asking for suggestions.
I already gave my suggestion, so.
Okay, well, if there's any changes to this, if we can come up with something that you think would improve on this,
How about if I come up with a sentence that addresses my concern? Is everybody okay with that? And then I'll shoot you all an email.
yes,
Um,
great, then we can discuss it at the next meeting.
thank you.
So, and then it just goes into our agendas. And there's nothing formal about applying it to ordinances or anything like that. And is there any other questions or comments about that? So we'll revisit that on our next committee meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Then can I have a request or a motion to place the reports on file?
Mr. Chair Gums, I would ask for unanimous request to place reports on file.
Thumbs requests, any objections to that? No objections? Make reports on file. Do we need executive session? State's attorney over there is shaking his head. Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Arroyo moves, second by
Garcia.
Sia. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Wants to stay here?